Thank you for trying TechSmith's Camtasia Relay.
Okay, welcome to the Sun and Clouds video tutorial for Graphic Design 1. Here is our website, and the Sun and Clouds link is on the left side right there. I already have this open. Should look like this. It's a PDF. Now, a nice trick to transfer between directions and Adobe Illustrator is using the Alt-Tab feature. Hold the Alt key down, hit Tab, and it will make you or allow you to transfer back and forth. So here's the Adobe Illustrator environment. We have our toolbar on the left, and our attributes are on the right side. I prefer to extend this out so I can actually read what I'm working with. In Sun and Clouds, the tool you'll be using, or one of the tools you'll be using, is the Pathfinder tool. Pull that out and get that ready to go. You will also be using the Layers palette. Click once and drag that out. Now, per the directions, the first thing we will be creating is the clouds in our Sun and Clouds. This is only basically made up of a series of circles that are then combined into a compound shape using Pathfinder. So let's do that now. We're going to start by making 4 circles of different sizes. So I go to the left side, I find my ellipse tool, which may be behind the rectangle. Hold the Shift key down to make a perfect circle, and make them different sizes. Mine are all yellow. I will turn those back to white just for the purposes of showing you what your screen may look like. Okay, now what we want to do is, with these shapes here, I would like to combine these into a compound shape. So how to do that is I grab my black arrow or my general selection tool, select all the circles, and I'm going to click the first button in the Pathfinder toolbar called Add to Shape. If I click away, you'll see now that I have a compound object and it removed all the intersecting lines. If I ever want to move any of these circles, I can still do that. All I got to do is double click anywhere in that cloud, click once on one of the circles, and I can move now individual circles to adjust the size and location of those. And you can see as I move them, they are still compound, so they still look like a cloud. Their intersecting lines are still gone. When I'm done, double click outside anywhere on the white or on the artboard, and there is my cloud. Now, if I look at the directions, I can see that we're at this step, and now I want to subtract half of that out to make it look more like a cloud that's in the sky. So to do that, go over to your ellipse tool again, grab your rectangle tool, and draw a rectangle starting with the top half, cutting those clouds in half, just like this, and let go. Now what I want to do is grab the general selection tool, the black arrow, highlight my entire picture, and I'm going to subtract from shape. If you see this, the next step, we're going to tackle the sun. And to do the sun, if you take a look at the directions, is made up of 3 circles, or 3 ellipses, I guess they say. So we're going to do that, and we're going to make perfect circles from the center. So if you remember the tutorial, you want to grab the ellipse tool, hold the Shift and the Alt key down. Gives me a perfect circle from the middle. So we're going to do a big circle, a middle circle, and then an inner circle. It should look like that. Now I'm going to pause here for a second and take a look at our layers palette. As you notice, as we've been designing this or developing this picture, you can see that our compound shape is in its own grouping down here called compound shape. It's always good practice to name your layers so that as you develop larger pieces of art, you can have some organization. You know exactly what path goes to what piece of your artwork. So where it says compound shape, I'm going to double click and I'm going to name that clouds, or just cloud. Now the directions say they also want you to label each of these circles we just made. So let's go ahead and do that. An easy way to select these circles, if you look in the layer palette here, these things, they're often called the donuts. If you click on one of them, it automatically selects the corresponding shape that is in this layer palette.
Please call 6473. Sue, please call 6473.
Sorry for the announcement. So I click this donut. You can see this is the inner circle. So I'm going to double click on the word path. I'm just going to call that inner. The one below that, click the donut. That's going to be the middle one. I'm going to double click that word path and I'm going to call this middle. And then the last one is the outer circle. Click the donut, double click on the word path and call this outer. So I have my 3 circles. They are all labeled. I know which one's which, and I know where my cloud resides in my layers palette. So Alt Tab, go back to the directions. Now it's telling me to apply an effect, a zigzag effect, to the outside ring. So to do that, we know which one's the outer one. Click the donut, automatically selects the outer ring. We're going to go up to Effect, Distort, and choose Zigzag. Now I like to turn on the preview box just so I see what's happening before I click OK. And I see that my rays are not quite tall enough. I really want them to go past this middle circle. So I'm going to slide this over to the right. So I have some good gaps between my rays and my sun. And I'm going to click OK. Now what it's going to ask me to do in the directions is it wants me to use the Pathfinder tool to subtract from shape the middle circle. So you can see I have my outer circle still there, and notice that the effect is applied, but that path is still a circle even though there's a zigzag applied to it. So to select the middle circle along with the outer circle, I'm going to hold my Shift key down and click the middle circle donut. And I want to subtract that out of this shape. It's the second button in the Pathfinder palette. Click that. Now if I click away, you'll see now I have gaps. That middle circle is gone, leaving me with whatever was left of the outside circle, which looks like some pretty good rays, sun rays. Now the inner circle is not yet included in this picture, so I have to go ahead and add that. So click my compound shape, hold the Shift key, click the inner circle donut, and now I want to add to shape. Now in the layer palette, you'll notice I have a compound shape, which is also called my sun. So go ahead and rename that sun. So in this picture, according to the layer palette, I have a sun and a cloud. And since this is grouped, I can move it all with one using the General Selection tool. I'm going to go ahead and slide that up here. And you notice that my sun is in front of my clouds. There's an easy way to fix that. If you look in the layers palette, you can see the sun is above the clouds. We just want to move the sun below the clouds. So we just click, drag down until the arrows show up below the cloud layer, and release. And now my sun is below the clouds. That also happened up here. Let me shrink my sun up a little bit. There. So there's my sun and clouds. Now let's say I want to add a little bit of color to this. Very simple to do. With your black arrow, click once on your clouds. Notice you can see everything that's hidden. Because those paths are still there, they're just subtracted from the shape. But technically they're still there. So I want to color my clouds, and there's a few ways you can do it. I'm going to pull color out, and I'm going to pull my swatches out. And some people color their clouds automatically gray. To me that just means that you're in a bad mood, so I'm going to go with a blue color. Now I can do different shades of blue. I can do a lighter blue here if I want. Just clicking any color in the swatches palette automatically changes the color of my clouds. And if I want to adjust it even more, I can go into the color palette itself here and slide these right or left, and you can see that the transparency or the shades of these colors are changing based on how I slide these different slide bars over for red, green, and blue. Now if I click off, you'll see that my blue clouds are remaining. If I'd like to color my sun yellow, simply click once on the sun, choose yellow, and click away. Okay, so that's the basics behind the sun and clouds. That is how to color them. Very simple tutorial using Pathfinder, using shapes, renaming shapes using the layer palette, and quickly selecting shapes that are in a compound shape.
Thank you for trying TechSmith's Camtasia Relay.